good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Ride with a Gentleman. And today we're going to be talking about anchors, one of the most requested topics from all of you guys out there on the Facebook group. So stay tuned. It's going to be exciting. Hey everybody, welcome back to episode 5 of Ride with a Gentleman. I'm here at a park that's very close to home, and it's got a baseball field attached to it, so sometimes I get to see kids playing baseball. It's also home to the Mississauga Majors, our resident baseball team. It's a very cool place, and it's great for a good walk in the morning, and yeah, it's pretty quiet, so you can have your own personal time and your own personal space when you need it. But anyways, let's get to today's topic, and I like to talk about anchors. By NLP definition, anchors are physical triggers to internal responses or internal stimulus responses that can be re-accessed whenever you want to trigger those internal responses, states, feelings, behaviors, things like that. So in simple layman's terms, what they are basically links, physical links to feelings, states, and behaviors. And they can be re-triggered whenever you want to trigger those states. And this is very powerful because you can do this with other people, including yourself. When you want to feel happy, for example, you can link a physical trigger. So whenever you want to feel happy, all you got to do is access that physical trigger and you'll start to feel happy. It's amazing how it works. But let's break it down, because a lot of you, I've noticed, have concerns over how to use anchors and how they can be accessed whenever you need them. So a good example of this would be in the blowjob pattern. And if you notice, whenever you start to talk about indulgence and excitement and arousal, there's physical triggers involved where you start to point either to yourself or you point towards your penis. And that, my friends, is an anchor at work. So whenever you start to point either to yourself or your penis, what you're doing is you're triggering those states of arousal, those states of indulgence, the feeling of indulgence, and you're linking that feeling to yourself. So whenever you run that pattern with the woman, every time throughout the conversation, you point either to yourself or to your penis, you'll be triggering that feeling inside her mind and her body.
Just a quick note about anchors here. When making anchors using physical gestures such as self points and picture framing, make sure you do them subtly and not make them obvious, because they might flag the woman's conscious radar and the anchor will not work. Subtlety is key in this case because it's completely under the radar and therefore will bypass her critical faculty and settle into her subconscious mind.
I hope that made sense. Another good example would be, actually, anchors are used in our everyday lives. If you notice about my intro has a theme, a song, and a message. And now every time you see my intro, that triggers a state of learning. Isn't that amazing how that works? McDonald's does it too. If you notice what their anthem is or their jingle, ba-da-ba-ba-ba, I'm loving it. That's an anchor, because every time you hear that, the first thought that comes to your mind is McDonald's, the big yellow M, and the infamous burger that they display. I think it's the quarter pounder or something like that. I'm not sure. But anyways, that's what you think about, right? Because that's an anchor. It's a physical trigger. In this case, it's a visual or an auditory trigger, because you hear that jingle and your mind goes to a visual image of McDonald's. And that, my friends, that's what anchors do. It's very simple. And so I encourage you to use anchors wisely, because they can link intense thoughts, feelings, and behaviors to whatever physical trigger you establish. And if you don't use them properly, they can lead to some very, very unexpected circumstances. So think about how you want to incorporate anchors into your patterns and how you want to modify them so that they can be re-triggered. Now, anchors don't necessarily have to be limited to physical gestures. They can be established through external stimuli, objects, for example. You can take a lollipop and associate feelings of indulgence and arousal to that lollipop. So every time you give a lollipop to the girl, she's going to access those feelings of indulgence and arousal. Cool? And that's all I have for you, basically. And in the next episode, I'll be talking about the cause and effect theory and how that actually affects your way of thinking, your behavior, and personal power. Okay, so stay tuned for that. And if you like this video, don't forget to smash that like button. And if you haven't already, please subscribe with your notifications turned on, because I'm just going to keep coming back to you with magic. All right, this has been great. I'm your host, Akira, and I will catch you in the next episode. Stay safe and happy sergeant, guys. Cheers.
If you like this video, you may discover that you'll enjoy learning more from the Home Deluxe course, which offers a wealth of content on setting up anchors and tools to give you that personal power of being able to link any feeling you want the women to experience to you. Visit seduction.com today and start meeting women now.